All of us have ever had an unpleasant feeling in the stomach, heaviness in the stomach, or heartburn, maybe bloating, and other bad feelings. And as a rule, it is connected with our nutrition. We often say to ourselves that our stomach hurts, well, I probably ate something wrong, and we don't think much about it. And by the way, it's worth thinking about. Because at first it hurts rarely, then it can start to hurt often, and then it doesn't go away. And if we have a stomach ache, then of course we already have a bad mood. The general sensations in the abdominal area have a very healthy effect on our worldview. This is a fact. So nutrition has a direct connection with the health of our stomach. And in this video, I have collected some of the most harmful products for our stomach, and some of the most useful. That is, after watching the video to the end, you will know what needs to be excluded from your diet, and what needs to be added on the contrary. So it will be very interesting and useful. And in some places, probably even unexpectedly. So let's go. By the way, friends, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the bell too. Do not miss my new products. So, item number 1 is sauces and seasonings. Of course they are different, as well as very harmless, and very undesirable and harmful to our stomach. What do you need to know about this? First, look at the description of the sauce and directly at its ingredients. A number of studies have shown that of all the sauces that exist, mustard brings the greatest harm to our stomach. Therefore, if you suffer from abdominal pain, then it should be excluded from your diet in the first place. Also, spicy spices are very undesirable for the stomach, of course. Hot pepper plants, including the intestines. Large population studies show that in those countries, for example in India, where a large amount of spicy food is consumed, intestinal diseases have a very high level according to statistics, and they are extremely common there. Also pay attention to the content of acetic acid in this very sauce. It is added, for example, to ketchup. Let's move on. The next group of products is marinades. And first of all, I must say that it is pickled mushrooms that go here. In general, pickled products for the stomach are considered extremely heavy, unpleasant and irritating. So pickled cucumbers, tomatoes, it's all not great. But the worst thing that can be for the stomach is probably pickled mushrooms. Because mushrooms themselves are quite a difficult food to break down. They have such a structure that it can take 6 hours to lie in the stomach before splitting and being evacuated to the intestines. That is, yes, mushrooms in general are so difficult to digest food, but if mushrooms are also pickled, then this is complete hell. So if you want to feel sorry for your stomach, pickled and especially mushrooms should be excluded. Let's move on. The next group is a deep-fried dish. For example, French fries, something that is deep-fried, or a well-fried breadcrumb in oil. All deep frying, all breadcrumbs fried in oil have an extremely negative effect on our stomach. And it's good if we have a large margin of safety in this regard due to our youth. Yes, we can throw in any number of kilograms of these breaded wings or French fries, and it will all pass with a bang. But over time, over the years, this may already begin to affect. But not that it can, but most likely it will. The thing is that deep-fried foods cause excessive production of gastric juice, because again it is difficult to split, so more acid is needed. A hard food lump is formed. Then the stomach sees that there is not enough acid, the receptors receive information, even more gastric juice begins to be produced. And this hard lump lies there for 6 hours, and all this time, the stomach is rapidly trying to assimilate it, producing more and more acidic environment. Hence, we have gastritis, and a potential ulcer, and heartburn, and other unpleasant sensations. By the way, chips can also be attributed here. Because how to cook chips is to take potatoes and actively fry them in oil. Another question is still what type of oil is used. There is very often technical oil, which is a highly toxic carcinogen for us. But this is another opera. In this case, we are talking about how to make life easier for our stomach. So again, chips are an active oil roasting, that is, again, nothing good. Let's move on. The next item may seem a little unexpected, because it is associated with relatively healthy food, but nevertheless, it is tomato paste. Yes, tomatoes themselves are good vegetables. They are a healthy product. They are a good source of vitamin C. There are a lot of antioxidants and so on. But if we are dealing with tomato paste, then the situation may change here. The thing is that it contains a very large amount of tannic acid. And if we have a generally healthy stomach, then we will digest a dish with a lot of tomato paste quite normally. But if our stomach is already periodically aching, that is, the margin of safety is not very large, then here we can already feel tomato paste very cool, because it will greatly increase the acidity of our stomach and provoke unpleasant sensations. There is another consideration to abandon tomato paste in an iron jar, because those same tannins, actively interacting with the tin from which the jar is made, already produce carcinogenic components. Therefore, if you do eat tomato paste, and you tolerate it normally, then at least give up tin containers and buy it in glass. You will be healthier, or make your own. Well, now let's talk about the most useful products for our stomach, and the food that he loves, and for which he will thank us. The first very good such dietary product is bananas. But if you eat some fatty, unhealthy desserts, replace them with bananas, it will be much better. The banana has a soft texture, which is very comfortable for our stomach. There is also fiber and potassium, but there are also simple sugars, so you should not overdo it with bananas either. The next type is fermented milk products. And, of course, it is desirable not to be factory-made, but own various yogurts, fermented baked milk, kefirs, and so on. The most optimal thing is to buy your own starter culture and produce it on your windowsill, or in a yogurt maker, as it turns out. They contain lactobacilli, they normalize our microflora very well, they are well absorbed by the stomach and intestines. They are also rich in protein, and if a person has stomach problems, and he still needs protein, then it will be very uncomfortable to take protein from meat, because it is difficult to digest meat. And here it is fermented milk products that can come to the rescue. The next product is brown rice. And it is brown, not white. As for white rice, recent studies show that it is far from the best food, it is rather a pure source of carbohydrates. That does not carry any special other benefits, and in some points it can even carry some harm. But this cannot be said about brown or brown rice, because it is already much more useful. Brown rice, which has not gone through additional processing, and has retained its shell, that is, fiber, is very good for normalizing the work of our intestines and stomach. It is a natural absorbent, there is no gluten in it, and it is very well absorbed. But there is of course one thing, it is not recommended to eat too much rice, especially if a person has constipation. Because the product is very strong, and therefore, eating a large plate every day is likely to be too much. Although it is worth saying that we are also all individual, and for someone it will not be a problem. And the final point is, of course, oatmeal. How often it is prescribed to people with gastritis and other troubles. Oatmeal helps brilliantly with any stomach problems, it is probably the softest and most pleasant food for him. And I must say that oatmeal in general is a very useful porridge, and it works wonders, and I even have a separate video about oatmeal. There is a link to this video in the description, by all means watch it, I analyze in detail what amazing advantages it can give to our health. By the way, friends, and write in the comments, and which of these products do you eat, or vice versa excluded from your diet? Tell us, share your experience, it will be interesting. And now I highly recommend you to watch the video about oatmeal, the very video I have already mentioned. It will complement very well what I have been talking about here, so that you have a complete picture. The link you have just appeared on the screen, as well as the link I left in the description and pinned it in the top comment. Be sure to look. And if you like this video, then like and subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you on that very video about oatmeal. See you later.